Welcome back to In Totality. I've been away for a while, but I'm back and I'm so happy, you guys. I've had some really interesting time away, and I'm so excited to finally be back with you guys here on In Totality. Listen, if this is your first time, my name is Megan Ashley. I will be your host of this podcast. And if you are joining for the first time, welcome. I hope that you've been able to maybe catch up on some past episodes. But we are back for, I guess this is what they call season 2. I don't think I intentionally thought to do like seasons, but I mean, I took a significant sabbatical, so I guess this would be season 2 of In Totality, and I'm so excited but nervous to be back. I have not been in the routine of podcasting, but I guess it's kind of like riding a bike. Like you get back on it and you find your rhythm. But I do believe that this season, or I pray at least this season, will show kind of just how fruitful the time away was for me. And I pray that it blesses you. I pray that it is just as beneficial to you as it's been to me. And so I pray that on the time that you've been away, if In Totality was like, this is my podcast, this is what I listen to weekly, I pray that you were able to spend some more time with the Lord. Pray that you were able to spend some more time in his word, in his presence. I even pray that you maybe found some other really amazing content creators and podcasts that speak of God's word and his nature and his character, and that leads you back to him, because there are so many great podcasts and content creators. So I hope you were able to find one while we were kind of on this break. But again, I'm so happy to be back. Also, I kind of wanted to just talk to you guys about what this last couple weeks have been like, or not weeks, months. Our last podcast was, I think, in December, and here we are in March. And I actually have a birthday this week, and I'm really excited about that. And just so God's just doing a bunch of newness, and he's been doing a lot of just work in me. And I started off this sabbatical. And to be honest with you guys, I really had no intentions of ever pausing. But after experiencing such like an increase in ministry and an increase in influence that I had last year, we did, from the podcast to speaking engagements. We had the Acts 242 conference, which was just phenomenal. I really felt a pull and a tug of the Lord to just take a break. And there was a part of me that was kind of fearful in doing that, because at the end of the day, this is my job in a sense. This is how I, make a living. And so if I stop doing that, what does that mean for me, right? What does that mean for me? What does that mean for my team? What does that mean for just our livelihood? And I just kept feeling like the Lord was like, you need to take a break. Like you need to pause. And even in wise counsel, like I remember having a conversation with Pastor Jerry Flowers, and he was just like, take a break. Like, I promise you, take a break. You're gonna be better for it. So as we were coming down off of Acts 242, I'm just like, you know what? I need a break. And this is for you content creators, like especially those who are doing content creation in the context of ministry, in the context of like, of proclaiming the gospel. And, you get to a place where you're constantly outpouring. You're just week after week, you're getting on a podcast, you're talking, you're going and speaking engagements. Like I had Patreon, I was doing stuff on Patreon. It was just constant outpouring. And so as I'm going to God, I have my time with him, and I'm spending time with him, but it became a thing where I was spending time with him just so that I could like fill my tank, so that I can go run the engine again. So I can just go and burn the fuel again. And I just feel like to protect my soul, I needed a break, like to protect my my mind, I needed a break. And I even felt convicted. And I've talked about this on maybe some other platforms. I don't know how much I've really talked about it here, but there was a point in time where I felt so convicted about going to the Lord. Like I remember towards the end of last year, I'm going to the Lord and I'm like, I'm praying, saying all the right things. And I just felt like the Lord was like, nah, like, nope. Like, you're not coming to me to spend time with me. You're coming to me so that you can have something to say. You're coming to me so that you can, say something good on your podcast or say something good on that person's podcast or say something at this speaking engagement. Like, this is no longer about me. This is about you. Instead of centering the Lord in my intimate time with him, I was centering myself in it. It was, I need God to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I need a revelation. I need this. I need you to make me feel better. I need to feel spiritual. And it like I'm centering myself in my intimacy with the Lord. And towards the end of the year, I was becoming more and more convicted about it. Like he was no longer enough. And, even just saying it now, it just, man, it rocks me because he is enough. He's God and he's enough. And in our intimate time with him and in our prayer and just, our intimacy with him, he should be centered in that. And I know we think that praying, like, yeah, of course you're centering the Lord, but think of, like, I had to take inventory of what I was saying and the posture that I was coming to him with. And I was like, yeah, man, I need to take a break. I need to take a break. I need to, I need to spend some time with the Lord and I need him to like gut my heart. Like I need him to check my heart. And so, that's really what that time off was about. And as I was taking time off, I kept seeing Megan Fate Marshman. I would see her pop up on my Instagram and I would see her, her content about her book, Relaxed. And it was such an intriguing thing to me. Like the way that she talked about it was such an intriguing, like it intrigued me. And so I ordered the book. I ordered one for me and for Jordan. And because I need someone to read a book with me. Like I can't, sometimes like there are certain books where it's like, I need someone to read this with me. Let's walk through it together because I need someone to kind of bounce things off of. Like when she said this, what do you think? And that was so good, right? Like, and to keep me accountable. Like when, y'all know when I did Beta Satan, it was me, Jay, and Jordan. We all read the book together and I could not stop talking about that book. Well, welcome to season 2. I can't stop talking about Relaxed by Megan Fate Marshman. That is going to be the book that I'm telling y'all to get. It is fantastic. And so as I knew I was entering in sabbatical, I wasn't going to be podcasting. I wasn't going to be on social media. This book was like going to be the book that I wanted to go into the new year reading. And so started to read the book. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I first went on sabbatical, it was not super spiritual. I was laying in bed watching TV. Like, I'm like, this is great. I'm on vacation. Like, I'm not podcasting. I'm not speaking really at a lot of places. Like, I'm chilling, right? I'm not on social media. So like, I'm watching movies. I'm watching Netflix. I'm reading books. I'm playing games. Like Jordan had me download the most crazy games, Block Blast. I'm like, like I literally had, like, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to get to it, but I literally had to fast Block Blast because it was something I was like obsessed with. This like, what is the game called? Airplane Chef. Have you guys heard of it? It's fantastic. It's literally the best game. Like I was spending so much money, not so much money, but I'm not ashamed because I'm not ashamed, but I was like buying all the coins so that I could keep playing Airplane Chef and it's ridiculous. Like, anyway, so I'm chilling. Like, I'm watching, TV and movies and documentaries, and I'm playing Block Blast and Airplane Chef, and I got my feet up and I'm chilling. Like, it wasn't as convicted as I was about taking a break. I did not go into it like super spiritual. And then, we get to the beginning of the year, and our church always takes a week fast. And so as I'm reading Relaxed, it's in the middle of us going into this fast. And Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell was like, we're going to do a 7-day fast. I remember I did it last year, and he gives you kind of two options. He's like, you can go 7 days, no eating, nothing but water, no social media, no entertainment. So that means like no TV, no pleasures, like no movies, no, like 7 days, nothing. It's water and Jesus, literally. Like, that's it. And then the second option was like 3 days, no food, all water, but also no pleasures either. And so last year, I ain't gonna hold you, I'm doing 3 days. That was an automatic. I wasn't even trying to second guess it, trying to challenge myself. Nah, I'm doing 3 days, and that's it, because 7 days sounds crazy. But this year, I remember we were at church, and I knew this was coming up because I knew we were gonna, he does it every year. So I knew it was coming up. And so I'm preparing my argument to the Lord. Like, I'm preparing my defense, because I know he's going to speak to me when I get to church, and I'm already preparing my arguments in my mind. I'm like, well, Lord, I'm going to, I got to work out, right? It's like, girl, you ain't been to the gym in 2.5 years. Now all of a sudden the fast come, you talking about, well, I got to work out. I got to eat, right? I got to have protein. It's like, girl, another 7 days is not going to hurt you. Because you haven't been working out for 2 years. So I'm like preparing all these ridiculous defense and arguments in my head. But I knew in my knower. I knew that the Lord was like, nah, I want you to do 7 days. And what I felt like the Lord spoke to me, because I'm going to keep it real with you guys. The end of last year was really rough for me, just spiritually, in my walk with the Lord. It was just rough. Like, I was struggling, and I have a lot of big decisions that I needed to make at the beginning of this year and going into the spring. Like, I have some really big decisions that I have to make, some really big life changes and life decisions that I had to make. And so as this fast is coming up, I feel like the Lord was like, the severity, and y'all know I like that word, the severity of what you need me is the severity of how you need to address this fast. Like, the intensity of what you need me is the intensity of what you need to put into this fast. And I was like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, dang it. I'm gonna have to do 7 days. And I don't want to, because that is hard to do. It's hard to not eat. Like, let's keep it real. Even when you've gone all day and you haven't eaten anything, you know how you like have a day and you're like, man, I haven't eaten anything. And you're like, oh, it's just going to be like that. Like, if I don't think about it. No, the second God puts his hand on something and says no, your flesh automatically wants it more. So I'm like, I knew this was going to be hard, but thank God for community. Thank God for Jay and Jordan. Thank God for them, and thank God that they're here with me, because they both felt convicted and led to do 7 days too. And I was praying. I didn't want to say anything to try to convince them at all, because Jordan was like, I'm doing 3 days and I'm eating salads. And Jordan was like, I'm not doing all that. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, you should just pray about it. I was like, because whatever the Lord tells you to do, just pray about it. And so I think it was like after church, she was like, the Lord convicted me and told me to do 7 days. I was like, yes, thank you. Thank you, God. I already knew Jay was going to do it because he did 7 days last time. But I was like, thank you, Lord, because it's really hard to be in a house with people that are cooking and you're fasting. Okay. I already knew I was going to have to cook for these kids. So I needed people with me. So thank God for community. But even if they didn't do it, I knew the Lord was telling me to do it. So I would have had to do it regardless. Hey, what's up, you guys? Megan Ashley here. And listen, I want to talk to you about Quip electric toothbrushes. How good is the feeling of fresh breath, clean teeth? Listen, I only get that feeling twice a year, but all of that has changed now that I'm using the new Quip 360 rechargeable electric toothbrush. The new Quip 360 oscillating toothbrush literally revolves around you. Finally, an electric toothbrush that doesn't overcomplicate the most basic daily ritual. Quip 360 is a bold, simple design that comes in multiple colors and is super quiet for a super clean without being super annoying. Accepted by the American Dental Association, Quip 360 is scientifically proven to remove up to 11 times more plaque between the teeth compared to a manual toothbrush and provided up to 2 times more whitening on day one. The replaceable head rotates, oscillates, and pulsates with outer bristles that clean your gum line and between the teeth, while the inner bristles polish and whiten your teeth. Ask any dentist, guys, and they'll tell you most people brush too hard, but with Quip 360, they have a handy built-in sensor and light to make sure you're brushing with optimal pressure to keep your gums healthy and clean. If you don't absolutely love your Quip 360, I know you will, return it for free within 30 days. If you do love it, and I know you will, brush easily knowing you will get a free lifetime warranty for purchasing on getquip.com and the opportunity to subscribe to refill heads by mail every 3 months so you'll never have to go to the store. And now with Quip Perks, they put their money where your mouth is. When you subscribe to the auto ship, you'll be enrolled in Quip Perks to earn credit back over time. Free your mouth with Quip and discover the 25,000 5-star reviews and mouths already loving Quip. Just for you guys here at In Totality, get 20% off site-wide and a free travel case and countertop stand at getquip.com/intotality. Free your mouth today and save 20% site-wide plus a free travel case and countertop stand at getquip.com/intotality. That's getquip.com/intotality, all one word. All right, guys, back to the show. So we start this 7 days, and there was a part of me that was excited about it. Like there was a part of my spirit that was really excited about it because I know what the Lord does when he is completely at the center and when we're completely dependent on him. Like there's something that he does within us. And I was so desperate for the Lord to do something in me. Like I needed him to do something in me. I needed answers. I needed him to speak to me. I needed him. I needed something. I needed a fresh fire. I needed him. And so the first day I'm like really excited. And so the first day was great. I'm like, oh, this is, man, I ain't on social media no way. So boop, I ain't worried about that. Okay, not watching TV. Like I'm in my work. Cause again, I started the sabbatical, y'all, with Block Blast. I started the sabbatical with Airplane Chef. I started the sabbatical with my feet up watching Netflix. So I wasn't really in this word like that. So this was like being in school. Like, all right, I get to study, you know. And so the first day is like great, right? Like, you know, it wasn't that bad. Come day 3, man, I was ready to give in. I was coming up with all types of things like, well, maybe I'll just do like liquids. Maybe I'll do like soups. And that's not really eating. It's like, maybe I'll do smoothies, you know, to finish out this 7 days. I'm gonna do some smoothies and the Lord was like, no. Like every time I tried to come up with something, he was like, no, no, no. And there's something that happens when you're fasting, because especially when you're fasting food, right, which is what a real fast is, abstaining from food, but when you're also eliminating everything else, I didn't have anything to satisfy me. I had nothing else to make me, like, to distract me or to fill a void. I had nothing. all I had was him. All I had was his word. And so it was literally making me get on my face every time I was feeling hungry, every time I was feeling irritated, every time I was feeling anxious, every time that I was, bored. Every time I was feeling anything that I would normally go get some food, go watch TV, go play Block Blast. Do y'all know how much time Block Blast will fill up? Like, y'all, I keep pushing this point, but I need something's in that game. I don't know who created it. I was filling up hours of that. Like, I would look up, and I think there was one night, Jordan and I, we had went to bed. And we're like, all right, good night. It's like 3 hours later, 2 a.m, and we both I hit a high score. It's like, go to bed. Like, I was filling up so much time, but couldn't spend 20 minutes praying without being distracted or without, And so it was just showing me how much I actually needed God. Like, I actually needed him because I didn't have anything else. I didn't have any other distractions. And so every ounce of my weakness, it was making me yield to his presence. Because what would happen is every single time I would get in his presence, say I would wake up in the morning, I would pray, okay, but come noon, I'm hungry, I'm anxious because I have at least 9 more hours of the day, y'all. Fasting will put you in a good, you will be in bed so early fasting. I usually go to bed at like midnight 1. I was in bed every night at like 8:30. My kids, I was going to bed before my kids. Okay, like fasting will really make you go to bed early. But it come noon, I'm like, man, I'm starting to get anxious. I got 8 more hours left of the day. What am I going to do? I'm hungry already. It's noon. I'm starving, But every single time I would get before him, and I would get in his presence, and something miraculous would happen. I would not be hungry. I would not be bored. I would not be anxious. I would get in his presence, and it was like everything just stopped because I focused my attention on him. And maybe it didn't start off that way, maybe in the first 5 minutes of prayer, but when I was really yielding myself and being honest with the Lord and being like, man, I'm hungry. Like, I am hungry, Lord, and I don't want to be hungry. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to replace my time with you. Help me. I want you. Hey, what's up, you guys? Listen, I want to talk to you about EarnIn. Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you earn can be in your hands today with EarnIn. EarnIn is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work up to $150 per day with a max of $750 between paydays. Just download the EarnIn app and verify your paycheck. Then access up to $150 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. Listen, if I had found myself in an urgent situation where my dog Soho may need a sudden trip to the vet, God forbid, in that moment, rather than stressing over cash flow, EarnIn can provide me with financial flexibility to cover unexpected costs to care for her without hesitation. Make EarnIn a part of your financial routine and join EarnIn's over 4 million customers who say things like, when I think about EarnIn, I think about financial stability and security. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. EarnIn is designed to support you in the short term and the long term with no mandatory fees and no credit check. Download EarnIn today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the EarnIn app, type in Totality with Megan Ashley under podcast when you sign up, and it really helps the show. That's In Totality with Megan Ashley under podcast. EarnIn is a financial technology company, not a bank. Cash outs are based on your available earnings. Standard cash out takes 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Options to expedite your transfer for a fee. Tips are voluntary and do not affect your service. See Cash Out User Agreement details, service not available in all states. All right, guys, back to the show. And so I would just cry out to the Lord and be honest with him and be in his presence. And the miraculous thing would happen where I would not feel hunger. I would not feel bored. I would not feel anxious. I would not feel tired. I was in his presence. I was getting the living water, the bread of life. I was getting fullness of joy because I was in his presence. And it was the most miraculous experience just being in time of fasting. It was showing me also how much we actually need him. And what the Lord was showing me is that this is the level of dependency that I want you to have all the time. Fasting puts your flesh in check so that you are always dependent on him, especially when you take everything away. You don't have food, you don't have entertainment, you don't have movies, you don't have social media. I challenge you, take it all away. Take it all away. You don't even have to do 7 days. Take it all away for 2 days. Take it all away for 3 days and watch what happens. And that level of dependency, right? Because in fasting, you're supposed to replace what you would have normally done with time with the Lord. You're spending time with him. You're in his word, right? You're worshiping. You're spending time worshiping. Maybe it's that. But whatever you would have normally done, you're replacing it with him. That's what true fasting is. And every single time I would have a thought that was not pure, every single time I would have a desire to eat something, y'all, I was cooking for my children. Do you know how hard it is? I was making sliders, y'all. Sliders with the Hawaiian rolls. Putting garlic on them, popping them in the oven, cheese, caramelized onions, because my kids is picky and spoiled. I'm smelling all that, wafting it. There was a point in time I almost burnt my face. I put my face in the skillet. I said, Jesus, please. Just smelling it did something to me. But in the moments of temptations, I would have to stop and say, God, I need you. I would have to stop. There would be moments where we would be downstairs and we're like, all right, give me a minute. I gotta get on my face. Something would irritate me and I would have to go get on my face. And the Lord is like, and that is the level of dependency that you need to live with. I'm not saying that you need to not ever eat again, but I'm saying when there are moments of temptation, when there's moments where when you want to yield to your flesh, yield to my presence. Depend on me. Go to me. Not, oh, I got an attitude, so I'm gonna watch TV. Or, oh, I'm sad, so I'm gonna eat a pint of ice cream. Am I saying don't eat ice cream? Absolutely not. There is Grater's ice cream in my freezer now. I can't wait to eat. But what I am saying is that we need the Lord. And he is the only one that can truly satisfy. That ice cream is gonna be gone, and then what? Social media can't satisfy you. If it's gone, then what? If they take social media away, then what? If that friend isn't there, then what? If that man isn't there, then what? When your children grow up and they leave you and they have their own lives, then what? The Lord is the only thing that is consistent and remains. And so our first yield needs to be to him. That's what this fast was teaching me. You need me. Megan, you need me. That's what the Lord was saying. You need me. You need me. And just like he demanded the Israelites to come to him daily for manna, come to me daily and don't store it up. And this is what I feel like it's like, Megan, you know this word. And yet I was still living the opposite and still living in rebellion, still living in pride. Like, oh, I know you said daily, but you don't mean daily. You mean like every other day or like every 2 days? Well, what happens is that every other day turns into every 3 days, and every 3 days turns into every other week, and every other week turns into once a month, and once a month turns into once a quarter. Practice obedience and spiritual disciplines by doing it daily. You wake up and it's daily. It's new. It's new. It's a new day. Just like he said to the Israelites, it's like that manna is going to spoil. Yesterday's manna is not for today. Daily bread. When Jesus teaches the disciples to pray, give us this day our daily bread, which means daily. One thing I am learning so much in this season of my life, and I know it to be true, but I know it to be true right now, is that God's word is his word and there is no exaggeration. He doesn't exaggerate. It is truth. And because we project our humanity onto God's word, because we exaggerate, because people exaggerate, we think that this word is an exaggeration, and it's not. It's not. Give us this day our daily bread. We gotta search for him daily. We have to seek him daily. I have to depend on him daily. Yesterday's manna is not today's. It's not. And so I'm so grateful. Thank God for our church for 2819. Thank God for my pastor who's just obedient to the Lord and having us do that corporate fast, because it really did shift a lot of things in me. Even in my household, like I made my children fast. Now they didn't fast food, but all right, now I know y'all got to eat, but we all gonna be in here sacrificing something. And they did. They fasted video games. I think Eli fasted social media. Caleb fasted his phone. Caleb couldn't have a phone. Poor baby. He couldn't have a phone. We all fasted something. And it did shift a lot of things. It opened up more conversation. Even in my household, we were talking more. Well, we did go to bed early. We were like, all right, y'all, about 7:30. I'm going ahead and get in the shower and get ready for bed now. I couldn't wait to go to sleep. Every day, I'm like, God, please, I cannot wait to go to sleep. Just for 7 hours. I do not want to think about how hungry I am. But it was just good. It was a great way to kind of put me back in the right gear and focus, because the intention on being on sabbatical wasn't for me to play Block Blast, wasn't for me to play Airplane Chef and to watch Netflix and to kick it. Like, that wasn't just the point. To rest, yes. To just enjoy my time, yes, with my family and my friends. And yes, that was the point too. Maybe to play a little bit of Block Blast. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the main point was for my soul, was to get things back in alignment, to learn how to be completely dependent on the Lord, and to train myself and my mind to, like, really Romans 12, like renewing my mind that he is enough and that I need him for everything. I do. I need him for everything, which means I have to go to him daily. There are no days off. There are no days off. And I mean, and this is the Christian life, y'all. Living sacrifice, daily bread. It's an everyday thing. And so I pray that this encourages you to maybe take some time. Maybe you didn't fast, this year. It's not too late. Take some time. Maybe you do 3 days. Maybe you do 7 days. Maybe the Lord is calling you to do 5 days. Maybe the Lord is calling you to do once a week. Maybe that's what he's calling you to do, once a week. Maybe he's calling you to do once a month. I don't know what he's calling you to do, but I do know that fasting is part of the Christian lifestyle. You have to, that is what is required of us. That should be a part of our walk. is fasting at some point. And so if you haven't done it yet, maybe you should try to do it. Maybe you should pray and ask the Lord, like, Lord, I haven't fasted. I haven't fasted like a real fast. I'm not talking about, oh, I'm not drinking coffee. Oh, I'm not drinking soda. Oh, I'm not eating crab legs this month. I'm talking about a real fast, not eating food. God, I haven't done that in a while. I wanna be close to you. I want to, practice spiritual disciplines. Want to be obedient. I want to hear you, God. Whatever you're requiring me to do, speak it to me, and I'll do it. Whether it's 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, whatever the amount of days it is, it doesn't matter. But just pray and ask the Lord. Lord, do you want me to fast? For how long? Outside of food, what else do you want me to give away? Because at the end of the day, he's deserving. And there is no, when we think about the Lord and who he is it really a sacrifice? Yes, it is. But should you really be like me, how I was at church, ready to defend what I wanted to do, instead of just saying, God, you're worthy, and whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. I'm really grateful for the time of fasting. And again, I just pray that you maybe consider that. And maybe that's your journal prompt, is maybe say, I haven't fasted. Lord, what is fasting? Why do you require it? And what's keeping me from doing it? And I think that if you just take time to seek the Lord on that specifically, I think that you'll be maybe not surprised by what the Lord says, but I think you'll be encouraged to know that good things happen. Good works he produces in you when you fast. In you. I'm not saying fast and you're going to get the car, fast and you're going to get the house, fast and you're going to get the man. I'm saying fast and you are going to train your flesh to be more dependent on the Lord. You're going to crucify your flesh. You're going to gain more wisdom, gain more discernment. Strengthen your spirit, man, so that you're sensitive and you can hear the Lord more clear, because you're getting rid of the distractions. You're yielding to his presence. You're abiding in him. The word says that if you abide with me, I will abide with you. You're cultivating intimacy. And that's what he desires. He desires you. He desires your desires. And so yeah, I'm really excited to be back and just kind of share all the things that I feel like the Lord has kind of been producing in me. And I pray that, this helps you and that it encourages you to at least seek the Lord and ask, God, I haven't fasted in a while. When should I fast? How long? And what else do you want me to get rid of? What else do you need me to lay aside? There's some other really interesting things that I felt like I learned at the beginning of this year that I kind of want to share with you guys. I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about, because I've been reading this book by Megan Fate Marshman about Relaxed, and it's all about trusting in the Lord. And so next week, I'm going to talk to you about trusting in the Lord and what that's been doing for me. But I just kind of want you to sit with this episode for today. And next week, we'll kind of get into kind of just what the Lord was speaking to me as I was reading this book. And if you haven't gotten the book, go get it. Megan Fate Marshman is fantastic. Go follow her. Go look at her content. Her sermons are fantastic on YouTube. Make sure you tell her that Megan Ashley sent you over to her. And But yeah, go get her book. It's actually on my Amazon storefront. So if you guys click the link in the description, my Amazon storefront has all the books that I've talked about, all some of the guests that I've had on this podcast in the previous season, their books, some Bible study materials, even those like really cute little highlighters. Y'all like highlighters? I love like cute highlighters for my Bible and my devotionals and stuff like that. So all that stuff is on my Amazon storefront, but Megan Fate Marshman's book is on there as well. And so if the village hasn't bought it all up, make sure you go and get the book. It's really going to bless your life. But next week, we're going to talk more about trusting in the Lord and kind of what the Lord has been speaking to me regarding that. So I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. What's up, you guys? It's Megan Ashley. I'm so happy that you joined me on this week of In Totality. I hope this episode was good to you, good for you. I hope God met you right where you are, as you are. Listen, do me a favor before you leave, subscribe to this channel, and then go subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast. If you listen to them in the car or at the gym or wherever you listen to them, whatever platform that is, go subscribe to the podcast on there too. Do me a favor, send this to a friend. If you felt like there was something in this conversation that really just struck a chord with you, or will strike a chord with a friend or a family member or even a coworker, send it to them. And then do me another favor. It's like a lot of favors, Megan. I know. Make sure that you join my Patreon community. Listen, the Patreon community, we're called The Village over there. I love them so much. It's such an amazing community filled with like-minded people who just want to love the Lord, want to love his people, want to grow, want to really dedicate their lives to the work that he's doing in their lives. And so this is a great opportunity for you to join. You get the podcast early. You get the In Totality docu-series, which is like the vlog that you can see my life and see kind of the things that I do when I'm not here on the podcast. We also have book clubs and Bible studies. I mean, this community is just fantastic and amazing, and it's been such an encouragement to me and so many of the others that have joined. So we would love for you to be a part of that too. Do me one last favor, go to the comments. If something was said in this episode that blessed you, something that really encouraged you, even something that might have cut a little bit, something that might even convicted you, but it got you to a place where you wanted to be closer to the Lord, that you wanted to be more like him, where it draws you more near to him, I want you to go in the comments and tell me what that was. I would love to know. I would love to know that. It encourages me, encourages more people. And so we want to hear your thoughts. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.